Today, I couldn't resist. I'm making the cookies, or the Le Crookie, which is our croissant cookie combo. But we're going to be making this completely vegan, plant-based, no eggs. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is start off with our croissant dough. I'm going to start off with some water. And to our water, we're going to be adding our vegan egg replacement, which is our paniseg. And you can find all the information on our website, freefromthat.com. Whisk that together with our water, yeast. So I'm using some dry active yeast today. Now I'm going to add some invert syrup. You can use any type of sugar syrup. We have some bread flour or strong flour. This is our high protein content flour. And to that, we're going to be adding some white granulated sugar, some plant milk powder. I'm just using some soy milk powder. And this is going to give a really soft dough. We're going to mix all of that together. And on the lowest setting to get it started until everything just starts coming together. Right, at this stage, it will look like that. Vegan margarine. I always like to add a little bit of butter aroma. Now this is a vegan butter aroma to give it an authentic French buttery flavor. So fermented dough, essentially just flour, water, yeast, and a bit of salt that we prepared a day or two ahead of time. Back onto our mixer. So our dough has come together now. We're going to increase the speed to level 2 and continue mixing this or kneading this for about 8 to 10 minutes. So it's been about 10 minutes and we're going to check for our window test just to make sure that we have good gluten development. And we're going to spread that out until we can perform the window test. So we've got a nice window here. So I'm going to set that aside to bench proof for about 45 minutes. Okay, so now that our dough has been proofing for 45 minutes, we are going to get it ready for the fridge. Knock that air out and put it into kind of like a square. Now I have some cling wrap here. We're going to wrap it up. So our dough is ready, into the fridge, and then tomorrow we can start laminating. So it's the next day, so we can start laminating our dough. So you're gonna pop down a little bit of flour, and we want to roll out our dough about 25 by 35 centimeters. So we're going to deflate it a little bit now. Now to ensure that our dough stays really nice and cool, I'm just going to transfer it onto a tray and into the refrigerator while we create our butter envelope. Now to make our butter envelope, we essentially want to make the envelope half the size of our dough. And you can use some baking paper or a silicone mat. And it's very important that our margarine that we're using to laminate is going to be the same texture as the dough, so we don't have it cracking when we start rolling it out. For that, I want to check the temperature of my butter. It should be between 12 to 15 degrees Celsius. It's at 15 degrees Celsius now, so it's ready to laminate into our dough. Into the center of your dough, and I like to just stick it down. Now we want to make sure that our dough is not going to stick, so do make sure that you put a little bit of flour down. I'm going to carefully start rolling this out to about a 7 to 8 millimeter thickness. You can use some rolling guides too to help you out. So the first turn that we're going to make is a double turn. So we're going to bring that first top part of our dough down, just brush off any excess flour, and then we're going to match that up and fold again. So we end up with 4 layers of our butter, which is being enveloped into our dough. Now we're going to wrap this up. Now into the freezer for 25 minutes. So I just pulled my croissant dough out of the fridge, and we're just going to bench rest this for 5 minutes before we continue on with laminating our dough. Okay, so now we're going to do what's called a single fold. Again, we're going to roll this out about 7 to 8 millimeters thick. Now we're going to take the top of our dough and bring it about a third down. And then this end is going to cover that end. So you can just adjust it as needed. So we're creating another 3 layers Now I'm going to wrap this up again, pop it in the freezer for 25 minutes, and then into the fridge for about 1 to 2 hours to completely rest so our gluten is nice and relaxed for us to roll out and shape. So while our dough is resting, we can get on to making our cookies. And this is one of my most popular recipes, which is the Jane Wakefield or the Toll House style cookie, completely plant-based and vegan. So in my bowl here, I've got some brown sugar, some confectioner's sugar, and some vanilla powder or vanilla essence. And we are replacing our egg today with our panis egg. That's our panacea of egg replacement. So it's going to give us a beautiful, soft, chewy cookie and also help emulsify all of our ingredients together. So you just mix the powder with some water and set that aside. Now to our sugar and vanilla, we have some vegan margarine, which I've softened in the microwave. And we're gonna beat that all together until it's nice and creamy and fluffy. Now we're gonna add our vegan egg in about 3 additions. Now we're gonna add to our all-purpose flour. I have some sea salt, some bicarb soda, and baking powder. And you just wanna mix all of that together and sift into your mixture. Just wanna mix everything until it comes into a dough. Once it's almost fully mixed, we can add our chopped chips. Now I'm just going to cover up my batter with some cling wrap and pop this into the refrigerator until it's ready to use. So once your dough's had plenty of time to rest, we're going to pop it onto our bench for about 5 minutes just to warm it up slightly before we roll it out. So it's been 5 minutes, let's start rolling out our dough. Just make sure you flour your bench lightly. Now I first want to roll it out the width, which is going to be just over 30 centimeters. Now we have our width of 30 centimeters. We're going to roll out the thickness, which is going to be about 4 to 4.5 millimeters. And again, I'm using my trusty guides, my rolling guides, to help me with that. Once our dough is rolled out to our thickness, we're going to roll that dough back up onto our rolling pin very gently. Pop some cling wrap on, and I'm going to transfer this to the refrigerator just for about 10 minutes. I want my dough to rest a little bit, just so it's not going to shrink too much when we cut it into our shapes. While our dough's resting, I'm going to portion out my cookie dough. So I'm doing 7.5 and it's going to be by 20 centimeters. Now we're just going to cut each one in half on a diagonal like so. So now you're going to transfer these ones into the fridge for about 15 minutes just to chill up a bit more. So now just transfer the fridge for 15 minutes. Stretch out that part just so it's like a nice even triangle. Now we're going to roll like so. And as you can see, these are like little mini ones. We're not doing huge croissants. Now I'm not going to bake these guys today, I'm actually going to freeze them. So I don't mind if they're fairly close together, because we're going to freeze them solid and then proof and bake them later. So I'm going to pop these into the freezer now and take them out when I'm ready to proof and bake.